that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows. Alrighty, folks, welcome back here to Slow Motion Broadcasting, dealing with some slight technical issues here at the moment. Currently getting loaded into the session. Computer problems are a pain in a broadcaster's hind end, but want to thank you all for tuning into the action here today. My name is Ron Maunz. Alongside me in the broadcast booth is Joshua Wilkie, as he works all the cameras and the graphics in the virtual production hauler and tries to deal with the PC that is actively trying to take his life through stress and stress alone. But welcome you all into round number 11 of this season at Okayama. This track is an absolute hoot. It is a classic on the world of iRacing, and we're really looking forward to seeing the action that we have in store here today. The 11th round, we are getting into crunch time here in this season. We've had a good time, though. I think it is fair to say. We'll touch on the points a little bit later on, though. For now, though, we'll get all the juices flowing, get up and rolling here on this show to round off the month of February in some good fashion. Already seeing Brian Szynski giving us some updates about the NASCAR Truck Series race at St. Pete going on here today. But we've got some Formula V action here, and I believe, unless I'm very much mistaken, Mr. Wilkie, can I now bring in? Are we good to go?
Cow, Ron. That was quite the morning for me here, but I think we've got it sorted out. My computer decided to have a bunch of fun with me. Couldn't get the mic working, couldn't get all kinds of stuff working this morning, but we're here and we got it. But a lot of producing is sorting out problems, and it seems that I have sorted this one out. So let's see if we can't get this race up and going here. I do apologize for the lateness, and I believe there's a graphic from last week still up because I simply have not had a chance to get in there and fix it. So we're going to do our best to just let things keep rolling here, and let's get some graphics up, see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll get the graphics up and rolling, get the juices flowing here for this round of the championship. It's going to be a good one. We've already had some fun leading into this, and want to thank Nick and Tortolo for making this broadcast possible here. No graphic or anything that we have to run with here, so we are ready to rock, ready to bowl. Wii Sports bowling, all of that, and quite fitting for Tor to be your current provisional pole sitter, as we are about 4 minutes away from the end of qualifying right now. Guido set to join him on the front row. Andy Middleton, who just towed back to the pit lane, is qualified in third at the moment. Alan DeGassis is your Masters pole sitter presently, slotted in fourth with Angel Soto, your top qualifier of the Spec 2 racers, slotted right behind in P6. I hope those tippity-tappity taps on the desk were able to get caught. I'm going to stop right there. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun one. I adore this track. It's one that everybody gets a taste of on iRacing. I always share this story in reference to Okayama. The first time that I ever learned how an iRacing broadcast works was in my job interview over 3 years ago at this point, over on Apex, and the first ever time that I got to see how our wonderful production software was working was in an MX5 official race here at Okayama. It was a very odd period of time, I will say that with the utmost confidence, but I adore this track. I think there's a unique charm to it. It may be a track that everybody kind of knows like the back of their hand, and sometimes can be a little bit OD'd on just having raced around here so often, but there's still a bit of charm to this place.
Yeah, I agree. I think everybody knows this place really well too. So, they're pretty excited to get out there and do some racing around here. That can be a bit of a double-edged sword, as I've mentioned before, where you can kind of expect things from a track from somewhere like Okayama that you've been to so many times, probably in different types of machinery as well. And it ends up, you get maybe a bit of inflated confidence sometimes, and that can hurt you when you're going into corners, when you're trying to make a pass, because you just assume that you're faster than everybody out there, that you have something special around this particular track. And I know personally, I'm almost relishing those moments when I'm going into a new track that I know everybody's kind of new to, because there's just maybe some more opportunity. Maybe there's some of that little special sauce out there you can find that somebody else didn't find first. Whereas somewhere like Okayama, pretty much every square millimeter of this place has been checked out and tried by most of these drivers, and it's not going to be easy to get around somebody else. It's not going to be easy to make a pass. Not going to be easy to get a lap time, even potentially. So it should be interesting around here today. Everybody races around here good. They have some speed, as we can see from our leaders here. Some pretty quick times coming in there, and very close together as well.
Yes, a really close qualifying session. We have seen this track play host to numerous races in the past here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Was even our season finale, I would captain to guess, about a year ago. So this track is one that everybody knows like the back of their hand, both in these Vs and just generally speaking. Nice to see 18 cars tackling the track for qualifying. Rafael Boli, a name that I do not recognize there, qualified in 14th. Nice to see him make his appearance out here on the racetrack. And while we have the opportunity to, I want to thank you all for tuning into this broadcast once more and say that we have got a lot of racing action to look forward to here on SMB throughout the next couple of days. Tomorrow we have got a double header with the SRFs and the FFs, so some good actions to look forward to there as well. And we are just able to cover this past Wednesday some Ray Esports Club Racing League action with the Jettas and the TCRs running at the New Hampshire to give a little bit of Boston speak, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway road course. So a lot of Ray Esports action that we've been able to cover as of late here on the channel. And again, the weekend up rocking and rolling with some fantastic and always very competitive Vs on a track that is a bit of a silent drafter too.
Yeah, this place, definitely. You've got enough down that front straight, I think, to get something done around here. But honestly, like I said, I think everybody's got every square inch of this place pretty mapped out in their head. And there's going to be passing opportunities all over the place around here. Some better than others, but it's doable around here for sure. And I think we're probably going to see quite a bit of that today. It's going to be, I like to say it almost every week, but it is going to be a lot about decision making and so on out there, about making correct decisions and knowing kind of your pace today, knowing where you fit in, and then being able to kind of ride that out till the end of the race. So I guess we'll see here, but we are about to get a race start here, Ron. Let me get some music queued up, and we'll get that grid going.
On Brian Szynski whether or not we have a pickle sponsor now. No, we've got Nick and Tortello. However, we'll be talking a little bit about pickles come time for tomorrow's Spec Racer Ford race, and along with some customer testimonials for the first time as well. More about that tomorrow. In the meantime, though, let's take a look at your starting grid where Tortello will start from the pole position in the NIX Vision number 90 machine. He'll be alongside our slow motion broadcasting colleague Guido Marzucchi, alongside him on the front row. Andy Middleton is going to start this race in third. Next to him will be your Masters pole sitter of Alan DeGassis. P5 will go to Jim Brewster. Your Spec 2 pole sitter will be Angel Soto, running out row number 3. Andrew Love will start this race in 7th. Alongside him will be Ken Poulin in 8th. Drip Isley will start in 9th. Kurt Nunez runs at your top 10 with Michelle Lynn in P11, and Martin Visser starting alongside in 12th. Just a few more drivers left to go through here. It's Stan Szynski and Rafael Boley starting this race in 13th and 14th. Stephen Westcott and Wayne Baltimore in 15th and 16th. Nick Tello and Jason Grider round out your 18-car field here for this round of the championship. We'll note that Jason Grider did run into some connection issues right as we were about to get this pace lap rolling. So I think we're only going to have 17 cars for the drop of the green flag. Yeah, the comment, will that be the producer strings?
I have done it. I wonder sometimes. I call it the producer curse when I pick a camera, and the second I pick a camera, somebody racks out. It's happened more than a few times than I'd like to admit, for sure. But perhaps some of my gremlins rubbing off here this morning on some other people. But it does look like I finally have them sorted now. The points are loaded. The logos are changed. The sound is working. The cameras are going. Wow, that was quite the morning for me there, Ron, but I think we're up and rolling now, and I can actually concentrate on speaking, and I believe that we have a start here. Guido Marzucchi looking up the inside. Looks like Tor's already going to take a jump there on the start, so excellent start for Tor right off the bat here. That's how you want to do it.
Yeah, the green flag flies. The drivers are on their way, and with a massive jump, Tortello going to lead them off down into turn number 1. Meanwhile, Guido finds himself in the epicenter of all sorts of chaos and craziness. Drivers trying to go side by side with him. Middleton, was the one trying to get the move done there. Still some side-by-side racing right behind, though. Looking at, that's Jim Brewster and Angel Soto currently squabbling up for some spots. I believe actually Alan DeGassis is the one that he's currently duking out with right there as the field heads their way off through the little S section to start off this lap, and heads their way off through turn number 4 for the very first time. Tor doing everything that he needed to do to get off to an absolute flyer.
Yeah, that's definitely how you want your start to go there for sure. Caught everybody sleeping a little bit and went early there. Looks, I don't think that's going to hold out for the entire duration here. He's probably going to get drafted, and we'll get a little bit more fighting with Tor for sure. But that was a great start. As we're looking at here, Michelle Lynn, I believe, and Trip Isley are going to go side by side here. One of my favorite corners on the track. You can see it's got a little bit of a bowled out inside there, and you kind of huck the car into it, coming into our most technical portion of the course here. This kind of strange, there's all kinds of gravel here all the time. I always feel like this corner is that section's a little bit Mickey Mouse to me. It feels a little bit strange, but it's difficult to get through, and it definitely adds some character to an otherwise fairly simple track run.
Yeah, this track has a lot of challenge baked to it. Of course, was a host of the Formula One Pacific Grand Prix on 2 separate occasions in 1994 and 1995. The only 2 times it was a championship round of the Formula One calendar, although they did hold Pacific Grand Prix back in the 60s. Those were non-championship races, held strangely enough at Laguna Seca, which is kind of funny because only 2 years later they tried to change the track to roughly the same shape that it is now to attract F1. That never really worked out, but we are now now up and rolling here in the 11th round of this season. Tortello is your race leader over Guido Marzucchi, over Andy Middleton, completing at your podium in third. It's Alan DeGassis running a little bit farther in tow in fourth, with Jim Brewster, his class rival, directly behind. And Angel Soto behind them, both of them looking to have a fairly strong run in that Spec 2 class. Spec 2 category, always up in the air, always wild to see who's going to get the points where. And Angel Soto, in his time here in this series, has been really impressive thus far in Season 1 of 26.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely class of the field in S2 here so far by a fair amount. We'll get our intervals up here shortly, but it is looking like he's doing pretty good as we're going to get the cars fanning out here. Great passing opportunity up into this corner here. Again, we mentioned that kind of bowled out section in it where you can sort of shove the car into. You can see the 927 using that to great advantage there on the inside, able to hold that position off from Jim Brewster, at least for now, but he's got that wedge on the inside through this technical section, and that's exactly how you get it done right there. I've spoken too soon. That is not how you get it done. Unfortunately, Jim Brewster going to loop it right there and just be a rolling roadblock for about 5 other cars. Getting a really good look at that piping in the back. Some pretty good work on the exhaust on these things, but oh no, that is horrible, Ron, for Jim Brewster, and a spattering of other drivers there.
Yeah, let's gather around the heap pile and sing our wrecked race car song. That's pretty much what we just had there, heading off through turn number 7. There's a problem with the infield, as I like to call it the infield, the 5 through into 9 arena section of this lap. Very easy to have disaster break out there, and fortunately, a lot of racers piling in there. Decent chunk of your top runners, both in Masters and in Spec 2. Oh my, 5 cars piled in there in one shot, and let's add a 6th into that.
Man.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Not a good one. That is not what you want to see, Ron. Not at all. We're going to go on board with Michelle Lynn here. It's hard to kind of just get in there because it is such a quick accident here, but wow, yeah, that was not a good one. And just absolutely 100% nowhere for anybody to go there, unfortunately. And yeah, that's really too bad. Not the place you want to spin on track for sure. Guido up the inside.
Yeah, on the subject of that incident, there was only one real exclamation you can have at that end. I can't say it, but I can spell it. It's O-H-S-H-I. Tullo now holding on to P2 at the moment. Marzucchi got a move put on him a few moments ago. Andy Middleton is right in tow. These three have now driven off into the sunset as a result of that incident. A 5-second margin between themselves and Alan DeGassis, your current Masters leader. And in all that chaos and craziness, Trip Isley, a Formula star in the other world of SCCA National Championship runoff competition, just SCCA competition period, he's holding on to P5 at the present moment, and your current Spec 2 lead. Take another look at this, though, because, you know, it's very rare at this track that you see a field clear like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially for the Formula V Weekend Warriors, too. We don't usually see, really messy pileups like this, but so early in the race, they're just nose to tail. It's kind of a low-speed incident there. It's honestly just really unfortunate. And we know, Jim's a good driver. It's not like he does something like that often, but he just asked a little bit too much of the car. There's some gravel, I believe, that everybody just drove through that probably added to that a little bit. And unfortunately, it's just a wrong place, wrong time for a bunch of drivers there. And it reminds me a little bit of Chicago Street Course a few weeks ago. When you get an accident there, you're basically just you're just a roadblock at that point, and everybody piles into you. And and unfortunately, that's kind of what we saw there. Just not able to avoid at all, and that's going to take out some of our lead drivers there. So some of our springy mid pack drivers at least. Anyway, we lost some racing there for sure. Unfortunate. Michelle Lynn again, looking really racy today and getting caught up in it. It's too bad.
Yeah, the falling anvil strike, and when they strike, it leaves the burn behind with the fire of 1,000 suns. So,
We've been
such
there,
a shame. Yeah. I feel
we
like
know the pain. We know the burn.
I feel like I'm a marked distributor of falling anvils at this point. I've given out so many of them on the air over the years. So, You know, you live and you learn, I guess, potentially. I'm not really sure. Looking at this battle right now for some of the final few spots inside of the top 5. Alan Degassis over Trip Isley, over Kurt Nunez. These drivers kind of running an island of their own as Martin Visser is behind them and Dan Szynski is behind him in the Great Value Walmart scheme. Always
Nice.
love to see that. I got an explanation from Dan about the meaning behind all of this, and I had to read it like I can't remember whether it was very late on in the night, right after I got off like some show that aired until like a stupid hour in the morning, or it was literally first thing I woke up and I read it. But it was a very interesting read, regardless. That's how your top packs really. That incident has kind of broken the field up to a degree.
Yeah, unfortunate for sure. Just having a quick look at our new driver here. I'm not sure he's raced with us before here. The likes of Rafael Boli. Not doing too bad today. Top 10. He's going to inherit a few positions from some of our veterans there in that incident. So good to see you out there, Rafael. Hopefully we'll have you around some more. And it looks like a pretty clean race so far for the 428. We'll keep an eye on him. But up front, Tortello, Guido Marzucci going side by side here. This is probably the best passing opportunity on the course, Ron, and this is maybe where I would be going back and forth. I'd be kind of playing a little tit for tat here. Looks like that's exactly what Tor's going to do. He's going to let Guido by without too much effort there, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to race to apex for every corner. You're just going to hand it to the HP car and maybe even some other cars behind you. So doing a good job to facilitate that pass there for the 90, doing another good job, Guido, in the 19, just using that draft to get by and keep that momentum up. And that's what it's all about. 90 actually going to have a little press square to intimidate moment there on Guido, having a look up the inside. I'm not sure if that was intentional, if he's actually looking for a move there, if he's just trying to get in the fart car's mirrors. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, I think Tor is just kind of biding his time at the moment, but certainly trying to rattle the cage of Guido to some degree here, trying to get into his head ever so slightly, see what he can do to make this a little bit easier for him. Got Andy Middleton right in tow, still applying pressure to these competitors. Middleton has been quick throughout this season. It is very fair to say that. So the HP Sauce car having a little bit of zing to it, much like the HP Sauce itself. But as we keep an eye on this battle here, Josh, I am curious whether or not we can take just a brief little gander at our points. We didn't get a chance to take a look at it here in the pre-race show, so we'll do it as quickly and efficiently as we can here as the other racing is going on out there on the circuit. We'll start off as usual by taking a look at your Spec 1 points, where we were thinking that there's maybe going to be a fight early on in the season between Tortello and Felix Samoa as your reigning two-time champion here in this series, but it hasn't really materialized. Tor's been quick, very quick, 911 points for him. Guido is slotted behind him, P2, though. Great season for him. Darme Toomey just knows that he's not here today. He rounds out top 3 with Andy Middleton and Michelle Lynn right in tow. So you got to think about that when it comes to this battle that Tortello has now flamed up once more. Just got a move put on Guido to try and jump his way up into that spot. He's pretty much the presumptive champion of this series, so a win would just about seal the deal. Quick look at Spec 2 where Jason Grider, we were thinking that was going to be done for him after the connection issue, but after starting in the pits, I believe he's now running in 13th. He leads the championship over Stephen Westcott, who's only a few spots farther up the road from him and 1 spot behind in the championship. Those two kind of in a fight of their own, as Brian Hansen is a little bit farther behind, Dan Szynski farther back from that, and Angel Soda, if he was running full-time this season, he probably could have contended for the crown here in season 1 of 2026. Quick look at Masters, where Jim Brewster has been the tour de force there, although the battling for second is still intense between Andrew Love, Nick Tullo, and Wayne Buttermore. Maybe a good day potentially here from Tullo, considering that he will make some inroads on Andrew Love as we head off into the final round of the season in just 1 week's time here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. There's your championship points. We already have a third of this race in our rearview mirror. Tullo leading over Marzucchi, over Middleton, and these top 3 still just biding their time.
Yeah, they're kind of ding-dong back and forth here for sure, and I'd say that's probably exactly what they're doing, Ron. They're out there just kind of running the clock at the moment here, trying to stay alive, trying to make sure they kind of maybe get a strategy for the end for how they're gonna take their competitor. But right now, you're just trying to stay clean and fast as you can. You know, just behind them, Andy Middleton here, kind of on a bit of a, he's got a really good view of kind of what's going on here. I'd kind of like to be in his position. Just behind him, we have Alan DeGassis, though, and there is a bit of a fight beginning to happen here as well. So we've got a bit of a train of cars here, and they are going to be fighting as well. So a couple battles going on all over the track. We were actually just mentioning here, Trip Isley, we got someone in our chat here, I believe it is one of the Straczynski brothers, saying Donnie Isley has raced SCCA Vs since the late 70s. So definitely got a little bit of pedigree here for the number 30 as well. Pretty cool stuff. I don't get a chance out here in Canada very often to see racing at all, because we just simply don't have racetracks very much, and it's a real bummer. But I would love to see some of these Vs race, around. It would be pretty cool. I've never seen this machinery in real life at all, and one of these days, hopefully I'll have a chance to hit one of the tracks and check it out. But like I said, there's just not a whole lot of that going on around here in Canada, unfortunately.
There was a V that I got the opportunity to race against in my autocross days with the Philly region of the SCCA. It was a blue V. It had a 2-speed transmission. There was pretty much one gear that helped you get off the line, and another that was geared for about 90 miles an hour. It was not that quick. It was not reliable. But Formula V racing at its core is grassroots racing, and that's one of the things I love about the Weekend Warriors community. As Brian raised there, kind of talking about the Isleys, and it's funny to talk about Brian bringing it up, because Brian's the son of Bill Straczynski, who's a longtime Formula V racer in the SCCA. Of course, Brian and his brother Dan, competitors here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors. They've driven Formula Vs themselves. Brian was racing in the SCCA National Championship runoffs just last summer. So we've got a lot of racers out there on the track that have experience with the SCCA. Michelle Lynn, she drove in V machinery for quite a long time, just Formula car machinery in general.
Very cool.
Used to race in KT 100 karts. I remember having some conversations with her about her time in karts. Jim Brewster as well. I remember one time we had Tam, his sister Tam, in the broadcast booth right towards the end of some of the earlier days of me covering the Spec Racer Fords, and talking about how those two fell in love with racing, going to races with their dad as children many moons ago at Lime Rock. This is what I love about the Ray Esports and Weekend Warriors community is it is grassroots racing at the core of it. And sometimes the grassroots stories, even though the big money may not be there, that's where the most interesting and fascinating stories usually lie.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I was actually just reading a note from Stevie Ray himself the other day, talking about how he just loves the connection we can get through real life racing and sim racing, and making that connection through people like the Isleys here. We got Trip Isley, I believe is Donnie Isley's son. We're hearing from the chat here as well. And they're real life V drivers, and then they're out there with people who've maybe never even seen a V. Like myself, I don't think I've ever even seen one in real life. And I'm here producing it every week, and I'm able to get out there and race with these guys if I want, and communicate with them, and see what it's really like to race a V, or trade setups. It's an amazing, infinitely interesting topic for me, and I absolutely love it. And be able to cross over these two things. You got Tortello, a real V driver, being followed by Guido Marzucci, turning the screws on him, who's probably never sat in a V. And every week, these guys are back and forth, and that's just a blast. It's so much fun. And we're seeing the number 19, turning the screws on the number 90 here. Pretty cool stuff. Really like that it goes back and forth like that. We have such an awesome community. Weekend Warriors being one of the best on the iRacing service, hands down.
And see, I am aware of the fact that Trip is Donnie Isley's son. I was under the impression that Trip had driven in some V, or at least some Formula car machinery, either in the form of a V, in the form of a FE2, maybe a Formula Ford. I think I remember hearing about that many moons ago, but this is also coming from the same man who doesn't even remember what he had for dinner last night, so you can take my word with as many grains of salt as you would like. Guido still holding on to your race lead right now, with Tortello directly behind in second. Andy Middleton running at your podium for now, as these racers have just driven away over 8.5 seconds. 8.7 seconds is the margin between your top three and this trailing three of DeGassis, Isley, and Nunez. So we're really just driving off into the sunset.
Yeah, haven't touched too much on the back of the field here today. We've really spread out in the back of the field. There's not a whole lot of racing going on. This is probably the closest battle on track other than the Alan DeGassis Trip Isley Nunez battle that is actually kind of splitting up a little bit from Nunez as well. Back here, Jim Brewster is going to be bringing up the rear of our lead lap drivers right now. So that's him and Andrew Love battling it out here from that first incident. So they should be having a little bit of a battle with each other here soon. Michelle Lynn on an island here, all on her own. Not going to be a bit of a track day for her after that one. Very unfortunate. So many anvils in the mid-pack, and Michelle Lynn finding many of them this season, unfortunately. Had the speed, here and there too, so it's really unfortunate. But, again, pretty spread out here with Jason Grider and Nick Tullo as well. Maybe a battle can ensue there. Pretty close here between Wayne Buttermore and Stefan Westcott 2. We have him in here in iRacing, Stefan Westcott 225 if you're here in the race with us. But yeah, pretty spread out so far. Closest battles are definitely happening up front right here, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the drivers in the back too, try to give them some love as well. But it's turned into a bit of a track day after that first incident there, Ron.
Yeah, so after that big crash to get this race up and rolling, everybody just fanning out a little bit. Still have the tight-knit battles, though. And hearing from Brian Szynski in the chat as well, there's a recommendation for you, Josh. Mission Bay Raceway in BC. I looked into this, and this is the benefit of having the information that I have. I looked this up for your behalf. It's about 5.5 hours away from your hometown. So that's 523 kilometers. That's basically like from one side of Pennsylvania to the other.
Yeah, that's things are very spread out in Canada. One of the unique things about Canada really is that everything is so spread out. You go, you drive for an entire day to hit your next town kind of thing. And that's sort of the way we are. One of the reasons, again, racing is a little bit difficult. You can't just hop from place to place to place and race around here. You have to spend entire days or weeks driving across the country to get places and stuff. And when you do, unfortunately, there really isn't too many racetracks. I believe Mission has a pretty full-on facility here as we're looking actually at the Isley, or Trip Isley, looking up the inside here of Alan DeGassis. So we're going to get a little bit of movement here. Kurt Nunez having a good peek at that one. But yeah, we have some stuff. It's actually saying, Szynski here saying they race in Pacific Northwest with Posner and Lundberg. They live in BC, so they actually might live out here in BC as well. It's not a bad jump off point depending on how you look at it to go racing and stuff from here, because there is some places in the States that you can access pretty quickly and easily right from here as well, depending of course on what your idea of close is. But there is some, a little bit more difficult there, but you can hop into the States and do a bit of racing and stuff as well, so it's not impossible. If you're into oval racing, into dirt oval racing and stuff, we have quite a bit of that out here, but not too many race track road facilities in Canada, really.
Yeah, and I believe Brian can correct us in the YouTube chat, but Lundberg, would that be referring to Russ Lundberg as well? We've seen him before here in the Ray Esports and Weekend Warriors world, so that'd be a nice little crossover there.
Yeah, we got Donnie in the chat now, too.
Yeah, we got Donnie Isley in the YouTube chat as well. So we're bringing out all the Formula V stalwarts in the iRacing and real life racing world in the SCCA. See, I consider myself very lucky, the fact that I've got a lot of racing venues around me, even though I'm in what is, at least by American standards, a bit of a racing desert. I've still got New Jersey Motorsports Park an hour and a half away from me. I've got Pocono not too far away, Dover, lots of different racetracks. Forget the vacation planning. Let's talk about some side-by-side racing here. Guido Marzucchi and Tortello side-by-side as they head their way down to the braking zone, the hairpin of turn number 5, and Marzucchi gonna dive down late on the brakes, get that spot. Another interesting point to race talking about these top two is last time we were here, if my memory serves me correctly, Guido and Tor had a pretty rough time of things. They found themselves running into trouble. I think they even ran into themselves all through turn 5. So bit interesting to see how quickly things can change from one season to another. Yeah,
absolutely, and we've seen that happen here with the Formula V Weekend Warriors. We've seen Some drivers that were mid-pack, backpack drivers become mid-pack or front-pack drivers here in the last little while. Guido being one of them. He's always kind of been quick. He's always been sort of up front, but really unable to convert that speed into a win or into a good position for the first little while. And we've really seen him in the last bit here showing his nose a lot more, and actually right now leading the race, with some confidence out there and stuff too. And I think that's what it takes. You see this a lot in many different sports, motorsports being maybe one of the most, is once you can kind of feel that podium, you can feel that win, you can understand what it takes to win, what it takes to be up there with the fast drivers. It seems to kind of extrapolate into more wins. You just get comfortable in that zone, whereas when it kind of goes the other way, it can tend to go the other way a little bit sometimes too. But there does seem to be something to be said for momentum when it comes to motorsports, that understanding how to win, what that space feels like, what it feels like to be in a winning car at winning speed, really does make a difference.
Oh, we got confirmation as well in the YouTube chat. It's Marjorie Lundberg and that family there. No relation to Russ, who races F600 cars, which kind of similar to some of the F mods that we have here in the autocross side of things. Nearly ended up driving one of those the second I was able to. This is a pretty funny story. I'll share this at this point here on the show. When I was 8 years old, first year running an autocross with the Philly region, the region treasurer who ran an F mod and still does run an F mod to this very day, came up to me and said, once you get the opportunity to, once you're old enough to drive my F mod, I want you to drive it to just give it a whirl. I never took him up on the offer, which I think is a bit of a missed opportunity. That would have been pretty cool to hop from that from a shifter kart onto that. He was the last, I'm thinking now, I believe he was the last non-kart to score an FTD at a Philly regional event, last I remember. So that was back in 2021. After that, it's pretty much just all been the kart drivers since, and a decent amount of them being me in 2022 and 2021. So we take the wins when they are allotted. Still looking at the battling as we get into the end stages of this race. 6 minutes left on the clock. Tortello still leading over Guido, over Middleton, with Alan DeGassis, Trip Isley, and Kurt Nunez still in their own little scrap. I've seen some tension rise up in the front. I wonder how this battle is going to cut out, with two drivers looking to try and grab the win in Masters, and two drivers who are usually the ones to break out the bare knuckle fist first. We know Alan DeGassis and Kurt Nunez to be I wouldn't say aggressive, but they know how to party here side by side out on a racetrack in a V.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they have the experience. They know how to have wide shoulders. They know how to make passes. They know how to block. It's about putting that all together when it matters here, and it's going to matter here pretty soon. We've got about just under 6 minutes left here now. Just almost 5 minutes left now on the nose, which is definitely crunch time. You're only going to get a couple more laps in here, and it is time to press square to intimidate for sure. As we're seeing kind of around the field right now, things tightening up a little bit. That battle with Trip Isley, Kurt Nunez, and Alan DeGassis. And I believe it's actually just Trip Isley and Nunez now, isn't it? Or is DeGassis still part of that? Yes, he is. Okay, so he's still in there. 12 seconds away from the leaders, but close to Trip Isley and Kurt Nunez. And then behind them, we do still have a little bit of a battle with Wayne Buttermore and Stefan Westcott, so we'll keep an eye on that one till the end. And then Jim Brewster and Andrew Love bringing up the rear are also pretty close together. But really, we're looking up here at the fart car and of the car of Tortello, and see if he can't make something happen at the end here. We know that if you have Tor behind you on the last lap, there is a very good chance by the time that finish line comes around, he will no longer be behind you by millimeters, and that's the way he works. So I'm not sure what I would do here if I was Guido. I would probably just try to skedaddle if I was him. I don't really know what I would employ at this stage. Tor is fast. I'm not sure if I'd want to stay in front of him. Well, I guess we'll see how this plays out, but if I was the HP car, I would be applying pressure now. I would be putting as much pressure as I can on these two. Try to make it so that they're looking in their mirror and make a mistake so I can monopolize on it.
Yeah, here is our slow motion broadcasting top tip of the day. If you want to win a Formula V race, run away from Tortello, because he's going to be a big thorn in your side for the very end. You look at Middleton, though. I'm not going to rule out Middleton in that number 70 car. I talked about the speed that he's shown throughout this season, and a couple of missed opportunities, really falling anvils coming down on him when he did nothing wrong. He is a driver that I think we're going to have to keep in mind in these Formula V races for many moons to come, as long as he keeps showing up. As Tortello and Marzuki were side by side, Tolo able to jump into the race lead as they headed their way off through the hairpin. But I will still keep my eyes on Middleton. I don't know why. It's a hunch. Sometimes, whenever I love it whenever a co-commentator of mine always says, "Oh, who's your pick to win?" And I don't really have one, so I just kind of like look at whatever driver catches my eye first on the graphics. Did that for a full-length Indy 500 that I was broadcasting a couple of days ago, and the driver ended up finishing in third. So I don't know, maybe I just have an eye for podium runners.
Totally possible. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes you just pick the livery that strikes you the most there and go with it. I mean, sometimes, especially in a race like this where you got 3 drivers here who could take it. I'm not really sure. If I had to put money on something, it'd probably be between Guido and Tor right now. But man, you lose that money real easy to the number 70 here in this situation. He's been driving really clean. He's been looking this whole race, and all he has to do is monopolize on one little mistake, and you would lose that bet in a heartbeat here. So we shall see. Somewhere like Okayama as well, there is passing opportunity here. There is places to get a draft. There is places to get it done. And we are in the wee hours now. Now you're really, really starting to tighten up a little bit to see maybe what it is you can do to keep Tor off that podium, or keep perhaps Guido off that podium if you are in that HP car. We shall see how it works out here, but I would believe the steering rack's tightening up, firewall's getting a little stiff at this point.
Yeah, most certainly getting into crunch time in this race. They're going to be seeing the white flag next time by here. So, well, actually this time by, pardon me, man, grammar there. Side by side off through turn number 5. Marzuki and Tello squabbling up once more. You got Middleton still kind of lurking around in the background, trying to find any way in the book to get past. Meanwhile, Trip Isley and Alan DeGassis have their own little side-by-side scrap as they've dropped Kurt Nunez to the tune of about a second and a half. So I was expecting that battle to maybe get intense. It's still intense, just with 2 cars instead of 3. But there's a lot riding on this race for Marzuki. It's been a darn good season for him, as he says in the interviews more often than not. He's best of the humans, as Tolo is an alien in these Vs. A real-life V racer over there in the UK, experiencing pretty much all corners of the globe. I think I'll have to ask him which hemispheres he's raced in. Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. I believe he's been able to do it in both. Eastern Hemisphere and Western Hemisphere potentially as well. But either way you slice it, Tortello, a fantastic racer in the real-life world, and certainly the case in this sim as the white flag is in the air. One more lap of racing action here at Okayama, and Marzuki is leading them as they head their way into 2, but he will be the hole punch down the backstretch.
Yeah, definitely. You're going to want to hold this one off. Not going to be easy to hold it off. You're going to have to make something happen here. Something special is going to have to happen to hold Tor off to the finish line here. Not exactly sure what that can be, but you got to get some really wide shoulders or just make something happen. You need to maybe overslow a little bit and try to mess the run up or something like that. Not really something I employ, the overslow. It can be very it can be a bad one, that one, as we're going to see Tor go up the inside here. Going to make it work, I think. That number 70 car just having a look. See if he can't make something work here. He's going to look to pick up the pieces. Doesn't look like he's getting into it too much here so far, though. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go jump on board here with the 70 because he's got a pretty good view of what's going on in front of him here. Through the gravel, almost done on the wee hours of the lap here now. Not a whole lot left to do to get it done, or not a lot of opportunity, left to make it happen here. You're going to have to make it happen soon, Ron.
Yeah, so Marzuki certainly all over the back of Tello, trying to go for the move around the outside, off through turn number 9, but just 2 more turns left to go here for Tello to try and seal the deal on yet another race win, as he is on track to become a champion once more here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors, heading their way around the final turn. It's going to be victory here at Okayama for Tello. Guido Marzuki gave it everything on that final lap, and he's going to come home in second, with Andy Middleton running at your top 3, still close battling a little bit farther behind between DeGassis and Trip Isley. These two have been squabbling up really ever since the chaos broke out early. Isley going to win it in Spec 2. DeGassis going to win in the Masters category. They finished 4th and 5th nose to tail, with Kurt Nunez directly behind in 6th. still looking to see. We got Grider and Stephen Westcott potentially looking to squabble here. That'll be the fight for P11 in this race, and a good result from Jason Grider, who will be able to give himself a good buffer heading off into the final round of the season in just 1 week's time here for the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Grider trying to win a championship crown in Spec 2.
Yeah, and it looks like Wayne Buttermore winning out on that battle with Stephen Westcott. Not exactly sure what happened there. Grider's also going to pick up that position here in the 552 over the 225. And that'll pretty much bring us to almost the end of the S2 drivers there. Nick Tullo about to come across the line here. Michelle Lynn, Andrew Love, and then Jim Brewster. And that's pretty much going to do it for this one, Ron. That was not a bad race at all. Didn't get a whole lot of action there. But some good action near the end and some very clean driving other than that one big pileup. Wow, what a big one. That really messed the race up at the beginning, huh?
Yeah, it's funny. We had a perfectly clean race apart from that low bit of chaos heading out of turn number 7 when like half the field died. So that's a pretty funny dichotomy there of like, oh yeah, totally clean. I mean, it's like, yeah, everything was fine at the party. You know, great party. Frank died. Great party. Everybody enjoyed it. But yeah, you know, it's Okayama. Everybody always trying to get the most out of everything. Doubly so at the end of the season with Tortello going to be victorious here when it is all said and done. Guido Marzuki still a good drive from him as I'm looking through the field. Some standout performances throughout the pack. I will say Nick Tullo put on a good recovery after the drama that befell him and everybody else got struck by that falling anvil storm heading out turn number 7 as Tor gonna burn it down here on the start finish stretch and towed back to pit. Nope, I thought he was gonna tow back to pit lane. Nope, he is. I gotta say, Tortello has mastered the art of doing a donut in a Formula V, which is quite impressive considering these cars have about as much power as a kitchen appliance. Oh my goodness, I think that may have been Kurt Nunez piling into that. But a pretty darn good race here in round number 11 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Only have one more race left to go after this, the season finale. Hope all of you will be able to tune into the action for the next round of the series when we swap out the winding Japanese asphalt for the winding British asphalt of Brands Hatch. So just one more race left to go here in this season of Formula V Weekend Warriors action. I want to thank you all for tuning into the action here today, and if you have enjoyed it, how about to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. We will take a look at your results in a couple of moments time as Tor being marked as running in pit lane. Nope, he is still out there on the racetrack burning it down to the ground and burning his engine up there. That perfect time for me to take a sip of water. And it's like, hey, yeah, burning it to the ground. Bang, there he goes. Yeah. Yeah, still some good action to look forward to at Brands Hatch for the season finale. But let's take a look at your race results when everything was said and done here from the second to last round of what has been a very odd season of action here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Tortello grabs the win over Guido Marzuki in P2. Andy Middleton runs at your podium in third. It's going to be Alan DeGassis winning in the Masters category, finishing this race in P4 overall. Trip Isley wins at Spec 2, finishing in 5th. Kurt Nunez will come across the line in P6 directly behind them. He's in front of Martin Visser in 7th. Dan Szynski will finish in P8 in front of Rafael Boli in 9th. Wayne Baltimore will finish this race in 10th, running out to top 10 in the process with Jason Grider in P11, Stephen Westcott in P12, Nick Tullo in a lucky spot P13. From here, a lot of the other racers running into trouble. We saw Michelle Lynn, Andrew Love at the epicenter of that chaos and craziness right as we got into the action here today. Angel Soto decided to call it quits after that crash with Ken Poulin involved as well, running at your 18 drivers classified here in round number 11 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors here at Okayama. But let's get the interviews up and rolling, shall we? And I think we're going to do this in a little bit odd order because you don't get the opportunity to chat with him too many times, Josh. I'm going to pass the mic off to you to get the interviews up and rolling and have a chat with our race winner of Tortello, and then I'll take Guido and we can go from there to wrap up the show. Sound like a plan? Alrighty, let's drag into it. I want to hear what he has to say.
Man, I gotta say I'm quite happy with the start I made there, but other than that, it was just back and forth with Guido. We just kind of swapped first and second for the entire race, and yeah, it was just a battle of like who would actually break the earliest into the chicane on the second and final lap. Yeah, and yeah, he was nice to go past, and yeah, just barely pipped it at the end there. But as usual, great battle with him. Yeah, so much fun. I just actually came back from a track day there, so yeah, pretty fresh in my mind, and yeah, I'm just raring to get a win. But yeah, just really excited to have another battle with these great people.
You know what? I think my mic has been muted to the audience this entire time. So they got the answers out from you, but didn't hear much from me. We'll wrap it up though. Let's get your final words on today, and yeah, and we'll talk to you next week.
Well, first of all, a big thank you to my team, NIX Vision. Big thank you to my content partner, Necronibble. And yeah, big thanks to Guido and Andy. It was great battling them today, and thank you to you guys at SMB.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the kind words, Tor, and we will see you next round. Awesome. Good racing today, man.
Thank you. Take care.
And that right there was Tortello, our race winner. When everything is said and done, let's have a chat with Guido. I want to harass him, even though he usually expects me just to harass him on Sundays. Guido now joining us here in the booth. Guido, welcome in. P2 for you at the end of this race. Happy to talk us through that battle throughout it.
Yeah, it was great. As I always say, it's always great racing with Thor. He's so fast and so skilled. I tried to outsmart him at the end because everybody knows that you don't want to be first on the white flag lap, on the last lap, because on the backstretch it's very long, it's very hard to defend. So with 2 laps to go, I took position not to overtake him, but to defend the second place from Andy, who was right behind. I didn't want him to take advantage of it. So I just placed myself in the middle of the track, but I had no intention to overtake Thor in that situation. But I think I saw it. He saw it coming. He knew what I was doing, and he went on brake so early that I thought I missed my braking point, and I almost spun. Because when I saw him disappear from my left, my brain processed that information like, you're too fast, you're too deep. So I slammed on brakes. because I didn't expect him to break so early, but yeah, he played it really really well. He's so skilled. It's always a pleasure to race with him, and ending P2 right behind him, it's like a victory to me, as I always say. So it's been a good race, very clean up ahead. We set a very fast pace. I think we ended up with about 11, 12 seconds from the first group behind. So we were really, really pushing. We weren't fighting that much because we knew that on this track, usually it gets sorted at the end if you're in a small group like we were. But it was fun. It was fun. It was clean, as it's usually in this league. And yeah, I think with that P2, I clinched the P2 in the championship. So that's good.
Yeah,
Best
darn good
result ever.
drive. Yeah, a darn good drive throughout this season. Multiple wins. It's been a breakout year for you, Guido. And looking to round things off, next time out at Brands Hatch. Now that track is one that Tour's probably gonna have the upper hand at, considering he was just there earlier on this week. But as you always say, you always want to be the first out of the non-aliens. So is that still the game plan heading
Yeah.
off into that race?
Well, yeah, it's not one of my favorites. There are too few breaking points, breaking spots, breaking corners to to be of my like. But I will try to make it sweat for the win, like I did today. So I want him to be a bit sweaty by the end of the race, and to at least think, "Whoa, that was hard." So that's my goal during next race.
Hey, as I always say,
Nice.
gotta rattle his cage a little bit. So just keep him honest throughout the race. I think that's what everybody can try and strive for when it comes.
Oh
to
yeah,
battling Thor.
I also want to say that he had a great start. He took everybody by surprise because he went so early
Yeah.
mid corner. Nobody expected that. So I was like, okay, I don't have to lose him immediately on the first lap. If I go out of the draft, who knows what if we will be able to catch up to him. So Andy was right behind me. We were on the same Discord, and I told him, please don't fight here on the first lap. Let's catch him before. And he agreed. So we were able to stick with him. But he had a very he's a skilled, fast, and also smart driver. So he's really, really hard to beat.
Yeah, super quick racer, but you've been pretty darn fast this season as well, Guido. But before we let you go, and actually, one last point on that start from Tour. I picture him just in his sim rig, like laughing like a maniacal supervillain. That's just an idea that popped into my head there, and I'll stick with it. But we'll let you give any thanks as always before we let you go and celebrate.
Yeah, as usual, to the admins of this league, Stevie, Jim, and Michelle. They're doing a great job to keep this league together. As I usually say, it's a great league. It's a great place to be. Everybody is really helpful. It's mostly clean racing, hard racing, but clean racing. Everybody's willing to help. We have 2 draft parties now on Friday for practice. Everybody is invited, is welcome to join if you want. One is better for European times. One is better
2 of them.
for
Nice. Might be able to hit it up.
yeah. One is better for US time.
Great.
So there are no excuses now to join at least one of those.
Yeah.
And thanks to Thor, because he's very it's a great competitor. It's I really learned a lot. If I had this exploit this season, if I improved that much, is also thanks to him. Just racing with him and running with him if you have the right mindset, you can learn a lot, and I feel like I learned a lot from him. So thanks to him for being here, for being around, and to race hard every single week. And to you, to the viewers, and to Team Ginetto, Forza Team Ginetto.
Nice.
Well, there you go, man. Well, Guido, I will certainly be hearing from you tomorrow for the Spec Race Fords as Joshua on the production truck for the Formula Fords. But we will see you back out there on the racetrack for the season finale for the V's in 1 week's time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep.
Bye.
There we go. Oh, I dragged him out late. I'm gonna hear from that tomorrow. That right there was Guido Marzucchi. I may be banned from visiting the country.
Got him off.
But yeah. Anyways, Josh, I will give you the opportunity to have a chat with Wayne Butter.
Oh, I think you just cut out there too. Okay, well, we'll bring Wayne. We'll bring Wayne down here. I think I got him. Hi, Wayne. Not a bad result today there. Yeah, you got in a bit of a battle there with, I think it was Stefan Westcott there for some of it. We didn't see what happened to Stefan after, but you're able to kind of hold it out. Good race. How'd you see it?
Well, yeah, it was. I obviously had some help getting on the podium today with the incident that occurred early on in the race. Jim Brewster, by the way, was in the waiting room here, and he wanted to make sure that I extended his apology to all those that got caught up on it. I guess he had a little spin. I was far enough back that I didn't see exactly what happened, but he was apologetic and wanted to make sure everybody understand that he was disappointed that he screwed up the race for a few people. So, but otherwise, I just tried to put down I got broken from the league group, obviously, and just tried to put down some laps. Stefan Westcott and I were running together pretty good. He was challenging me every now and again. Frankly, I thought he had an opportunity to pass me a couple of times and backed out. So I don't know what exactly was happening with that. And then something happened on the last lap that I'm going to go back and take a look at it and see what happened there.
Yeah, we missed it on the broadcast here as well, but definitely something seems to have happened to him at the end. You know, we're around Okayama quite a bit. We've been here quite a few times. I feel like people are pretty comfortable around here. We're off to Brands Hatch next. Not a dissimilar track, but definitely not exactly the same. Another pretty fast, hustly sort of sports car track. Are you a fan of Brands Hatch? Is that one going to be a good one for you for our final round?
I am, I like the course. I always had as much experience there as I have here at Okayama, because this is one of the official tracks as well and gets a lot of play early on. But I'm not 100% certain I'm going to be able to make next week. I've got some family obligations that might overlap on our timing, so we'll have to see. I'll be at the draft party on Friday night, and we'll have a better idea what's happening with that. So,
right on.
Yeah, so a good finish today helped in terms of final points for whatever my season's going to look like in the Masters group. So.
Excellent. Yes, we'll have to touch on those a little bit more next round as we go into our last round here. But pretty good result for you today, Wayne. You've definitely been a little bit more getting better results this season. So expecting more out of you into the next season, as well as we move on. A couple new drivers and stuff out there to jockey around with as well. Brands Hatch up next. Is there anybody you'd like to thank here before we let you go?
Well, as always, my wife. I'd like to thank you and Ron up there in the booth and for putting on a great show. Jim Brewster and Michelle and Jason and Brian, and there's a whole crew of people that really make this work on a day-to-day basis. So all of them as well for the efforts that they put into it. So, and we'll get ready for next season coming up here real quick.
Awesome. Yeah, can't wait for next season already, honestly. Even myself here looking forward to another season of Vs and FFs and SRFs. I'm really looking forward to it. Awesome, Wayne. So we'll catch you on the last round. Thank you for the kind words there, and great result today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that right there was Wayne Buttermore, P3 in the Masters class. When everything was said and done, want to thank all the drivers for stopping in here to have a chat with us. And once again, want to thank Nick and Tortello for making this broadcast possible. But Josh, with that fun ride here in Season 1 of 2026, but that ride is coming to an end next time out at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, Brands Hatch will pretty good track for the last round. I would say that's going to be a good way to wrap it up here with the Formula V's. And we've had another awesome season watching some drivers really pick up the pace. Some others, with some falling anvils, maybe that weren't quite as normal for them as well. So it's been a great season so far, and I'm really, really looking forward to the next season here of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. But we still got one round left, so not quite there yet.
Yeah, still have one round left to go and a lot of action to look forward to here week in and week out on SMB. Gives you a darn good reason to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of it. Of course, tomorrow we can bring you the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors running at Silverstone. The Spec Racer Fords will be live tomorrow as well. They're going to be running at Imola for the next round of that season. The American Muscle Series continues at Bathurst, but then we head our way off into championship finale week here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. On Tuesday, March the 3rd, you'll be able to see the season finale for the Sim Racers Group F4 Championship. The day after, on Wednesday, March the 4th, you'll be able to see the season finale for the SRG F3 season as well. And then come time for the weekend, we've actually got 5 season finales for you and a whole lot of champions to be crowned. Of course, the Formula Vs will round off their season next Saturday on March the 7th. That'll be at Brands Hatch. And then Sunday, we've got the Formula Ford season finale at Lime Rock Park, the Spec Racer Ford season finale at Lebanon, the Liberty Bell season finale at Alton Park, and the XSLR season finale as well at Spa. So we're going to be crowning so many champions as we get into the end of this season. There's a very good reason to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on championship week, as we like to call it here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. But after this broadcast here today, for round number 11 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors here at Okayama, that will just about do it. So for myself, Ron Maunz, and Josh Wilkie working the comms and the cams with me on today's show, I say thank you all so very much for tuning into the action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting today, and we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not too distant future.